Good day coders, welcome back to another video series of Let's Build Thumbtalk. Today we'll be focusing on a topic that most developers take for granted, which is code refactoring. This is a process where you stop pumping out features and looking back at your code and actually trying to fix some issues and seeing how you can make your code better. So first and foremost, what we're gonna do in this video is change the structure of how we have our controllers, right? So for instance, right here, we'll try to make our actual controllers as classes, right? So what we'll do is we'll export this as a class. This is going to be called an auth controller, right? Our controller will have like constructors, okay? Alrighty, this is what we're going to need. Then over here, we'll have like our actual query runner. So we'll just copy this over here, right? But we'll actually set this to null, right? And we know that in our query runner, we don't need that const, right? Alrighty, so now we'll just copy all our methods and actually put it in our actual class. Okay, so we just want to encapsulate everything in there, right? We'll remove all this export and we'll remove that. Alrighty, so now we're seeing that we've actually done that. So the next thing that we'd want to do is actually use this dot, right? So over here we can go ahead and actually remove this and do a find and replace, right? So find and replace all of this with that, right? And actually fix it over there. Fix all the errors that we have over there, right? Okay, so now that we know that we've actually fixed that up, so this will cause us to actually make some changes in our actual auth routes, right? So now we'll see that we've got these errors. So we'll actually remove this and we'll actually try to instantiate our actual auth route, right? Auth controller, I meant to say. So this is auth controller, right? Then instead of having that register, we'll just say auth dot register user and auth dot login user. So now that also fixes both of those errors that we had over there, right? um so seeing that we've done that, we've actually now changed this into an actual class. We'll do the same thing with our post controller. So we'll just say export this into a class and we'll call this a post controller, right? This will have like a constructor, right? And then we'll have like our actual query runner again. So we'll have our query runner over there, and we'll just remove that and actually make that a null, right? So now that we're seeing that's done over there, we'll actually do this find and replace and remove that. Alrighty, so now the next thing that we would want to do is actually copy all these methods. So do a copy, all those methods, and actually try to encapsulate them in there. Then we'll try to just replace all of that, right, and save that up. So now if we go to our actual post router, we'll do the same thing, right, which is trying to instantiate our post controller, right, which is equal to new post controller, right, and then this will be equal to that post controller dot get user post controller dot get user post by ID. The same will happen with that, right? So now we see that we don't need this, which makes our code even much more cleaner, right? Alrighty, so now we've actually like created that over there. But now we see that everywhere where we have like our actual like controllers, we see where we actually do start up like our actual query runner, right? So we actually start up like our actual query runner and then we do everything. So we can just add in like a actual middleware over here, which is gonna be our query runner. So this is query runner dot middleware dot ts, right? So this is gonna be our query runner middleware. Alrighty, so what we'll need over there is just to try and export async, which is just a function, right? Call this a function. So our function will be initialize. So this is initialize our query runner middleware, right? Middleware. So this is how we'll actually call it. And then over here, we'll just have a request, right? Which is coming from request from express. Then we'll have our response, which is coming from our response from express, and next, which is coming from our next function from express, right? So now we'll have like our actual try catch block, right? So this over here will catch an error over here, and for actual error we'll actually have like our internal server error. So this is coming from an http status code dot internal server error. Alrighty, so now we can go ahead and actually create like our query runner, and this will be equal to our apps data source dot create query runner. Alrighty, so then the next thing is that we'll have like our actual query runner dot connect, right? We'll await like our actual connection, and then we'll just await dot query runner dot start transaction, right? So we'll start our actual transaction over here, and then we have this over here, right? So we'll just have like our actual query runner request. Then in our request we'll just put in a query runner into our actual request, and then we'll equate this to our actual query runner, right, as query. This is as a query runner. Yes, it's coming from there. And then we just need to say next. Alrighty, so this will attach this into like an actual field, which is query runner. So we'll get that from our actual request. Alrighty, so that's all we need. So this was initialize query runner, right? And then now we'll save this up. And in order for us to actually use our actual middleware, we'll need to come to this index, right? And just right here, we'll need an app.use, and then we'll just say initialize query runner middleware. Alrighty, so once that's done, then we'll just need to go to all our actual controllers. Now we can go ahead and actually remove this and say query. So now we can say this query runner, right? So we'll say this query runner equals to our request query runner. right? So if I were to go back to our actual middleware and actually check this out, so just try copying this like that, and then actually doing that, and then as our query runner, because we want to make this actually fully typed, right? So instead of us having that as a query runner like that, we can just say this is query runner like that. Alrighty, so yeah, so that's what we can do, and then we can just remove all these start transactions, right? Then we'll come over here and actually say replace all of those. So replace everywhere where we start our transaction with that. Then we'll just try to import that. And then another thing that we'll want to do, right, is have this, right? So we'll want to have this final method is that if everything actually runs, then we'll just want to go in this finally, and then we just want to say that query runner dot release, right? So we just want to release like our actual like connection, right? So once everything is done, we just wanna release our connection, save that, and yeah, we'll go to this upload. Sorry, my bad. Upload, right? That will paste that. This is for all our actual controllers. So we'll say finally, we wanna release our transaction, our actual connection. Sorry for that. And yeah, let's actually now see if things still work as expected. So if I were to go to my actual login and actually try to log in, right? So you'll see if I try to log in, it still logs me in. If I try to log in again, that should still log me in. Then if I try to maybe run a get user post, you'll see that everything still works as expected, but the only thing that we've actually done is actually try to refactor our code and remove repetitive stuff and actually clean that up. And yeah, that's it for this video. If you're new to the channel and you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, peace.